At 24 years old, David Goggins was a 300-pound pest exterminator, living in a small apartment and struggling to process a childhood defined by poverty and physical abuse. He was paralyzed by his past, operating at the absolute floor of his potential. A few years later, that same man had completed Navy SEAL Hell Week 3 times, graduated from Army Ranger School, and began setting world records in ultra-endurance sports. Most of us recognize the gap between who we are and who we could be. We feel the weight of our own unfulfilled potential, but we often wait for a spark of motivation that never arrives, or we stop the moment things become difficult. Goggins realized that waiting for motivation was a losing strategy because the human brain is hardwired with a biological glitch. It is designed to keep you safe, which means it is actively lying to you about your actual limits. By deconstructing his physical transformation into 4 specific mental frameworks, we can see the exact mechanics required to override those false signals and access the capacity we usually leave untouched. The process begins with a tool called the accountability mirror. This is the mandatory starting line for any attempt at self-mastery. You stand face-to-face with your own reflection and strip away the victim narrative. You physically write your raw, earned goals on Post-it notes and stick them to the glass, not as dreams, but as specific demands. The mirror removes the ability to make comfortable deals with yourself. It forces you to look yourself in the eye every morning and acknowledge the truth of your current progress, or your lack of it. Once the lying stops, you have to build mental armor. Goggins calls this callousing the mind. Just as a physical laborer develops thick calluses from the friction of a heavy iron bar, the mind requires deliberate stress to become resilient. Modern conveniences, like instant delivery, like climate control, and digital entertainment, keep us in a state of constant comfort that allows our mental resilience to decay. The only defense against this softening is seeking out daily discomfort. By choosing hard tasks on purpose, you ensure that when an actual crisis arrives, your mind is already conditioned to endure it. With the truth established and the mental armor built, you eventually reach the point where you want to give up. This is where you apply the 40% rule. To understand this rule, we have to look at the brain as a survival engine. It evolved to prioritize the conservation of energy and the avoidance of physical damage above all else. Long before your muscles actually fail, your brain detects the rising discomfort and triggers a shutdown signal. It is an early warning system designed to keep you in the safety zone. The 40% rule states that when your mind tells you that you are completely finished, you have actually only consumed about 40% of your true physiological capacity. The wall you feel is a mental projection, not a physical reality. Since safe and great are different biological states, reaching your potential requires pushing past that 40. When we are under extreme stress, we tend to obsess over our failures. We easily forget our past victories and allow the current difficulty to convince us that we aren't capable of finishing. Goggins fights this by keeping a mental collection of every struggle he has ever survived and every obstacle he has overcome. When his mind screams to quit during a brutal race, he reaches into that jar and pulls out a specific memory. He uses his own history as evidence that he has endured worse and lived, turning his past scars into ammunition for the present. This method allows you to take your darkest moments and repurpose them. Instead of weighing you down, your past pain becomes a reliable source of fuel when your current motivation runs dry. It is easy to view these frameworks through the lens of mindless suffering, but that misses the mechanical reality of how they work. These 4 frameworks provide a method for repeated, incremental exposure. By identifying the quit signal and choosing to push just 5 or 10% further each time, you systematically expand your baseline capacity. It moves the mental limit higher every single day, turning what was once an extreme effort into your new normal. You can start this process today. Take 10 minutes to write down 10 difficult things you have already survived and put them in your own mental cookie jar. Go to the comment section and share one memory you're adding to your list. Tell us about a time you pushed through when your brain told you to stop. The very next time you hit the wall, remember the biological glitch. You aren't finished, you're only at 40%. Stay hard.